Hey, so we're here. It is, what day is it? Thursday. And I am walking again, feeling great. It's been an awesome week. I do have a word of the day. Today's word is resourceful. Resourceful, resources, resource, every form of the word. That's what we'll be discussing today. So when I think of the word resource, I think of things outside of me, my resources. Money is a resource, food is a resource, your car is a resource. So resource can be material. I think about my connections. Resources can be people in your network, okay? Resource can be information, a dictionary, a thesaurus, Google. That all is considered a resource. And then I think about me being a resource. And that's more so what I want to glean on today, as far as how am I a resource to myself? How am I a resource to my son, my family, to my clients? And a resource is like a seed or somewhere that you can go and receive knowledge, or something that gets you, like a car, from point A to point B. So how can people come to me and open up my dictionary of knowledge and add to their repertoire of knowledge in order to enhance their situation? How am I a resource? So I think about the different things that I do on the daily, as far as my trucking business, and then I have a consulting business, and then I also do billing for my medical clients and help them invoice their clients and do a bunch of stuff. And so the wealth of knowledge that I've acquired, I am able to answer questions, help people organize, help people grow, help people set and achieve their goals. And so I've made myself resourceful by not only being a wealth of knowledge or a book of knowledge, but being an open book. And a lot of things, I always say the game is to be sold, not told, but a lot of information I do give up, just because I feel like information should be shared. A lot of times I say I'm giving up free game, but that's okay, And so you have natural resources. You have resources that cost. Not everything that's a resource of you has to have a price. Now, some things do. This is a business that I'm running. But at the same time, my natural ability for learning, for retaining information, for teaching, for articulating, for organizing, I'm able to let that be a help to me and to others. And so I'm being resourceful, right? And another thing about being resourceful is that if I don't know the answer, I never settle with, well, I don't know. I always go and try to find the answer, right? I don't know is never the answer. I go ask people who might know more than me. I do some research, I talk, I communicate, and I add. The more life presents questions, the more life presents answers. And people always ask me, well, how do you know so much when it comes to trucking? How long have you been doing this? How do you know more than a lot of truck drivers? And you ain't never drove a truck, you don't have a CDL. And I say, you know what? I experienced so many difficulties through my trials, through trucks breaking down, through things going wrong, a lot of unexpected things happening, that it caused me to learn and add, so that when I came across the next situation, right, I already knew what to do. Wow, y'all, this is very interesting. It's been raining every day here in Atlanta, and more the lake is drying up. sorry to interrupt myself, but I think that's very interesting how the lake, and I've been over here for a few years now, it's going dry and it's raining. It's been raining. Like, the rain should add to it, right? Well, anyway, so a lot of the information I have has come from the difficulties and the challenges that I've run into while in the industry. And I say that to say that your problems, your tribulations, your difficulties, your hard times, those all can be part of your resources. Your hard times, the things you learn when you're going through, when things aren't necessarily going the way you'd rather them go, those situations become a resource because they add to your repertoire of knowledge of how did I get through this. So when I didn't have anywhere to live and I had to sleep in my car for a week, and then Miss Shayla comes along and she tells me, oh, go try this apartment. And then I met and she told me, I had never heard of a lost leader apartment. Okay, it's an apartment that is being renovated. It's in a building that's being renovated, but that particular apartment hasn't been renovated. Never heard of it, okay? But I was able to benefit from that. Now I would have never got the knowledge if I never was sleeping in my car and needed somewhere to stay, right? And then I got the benefit of that knowledge of my first apartment being $299 a month for like 3 years. And then I was able to pass along the information of when other people were looking for a place, tell them, girl, you better ask for a lost leader. A lot of these apartments are, rebuilding or renovating. Ask them if they have it. They're like, what's that? Said the same thing I said, right? So I look at the difficulties, even with school, with Spelman. I learned a lot about creative financing as far as getting my tuition paid for. But had I had the money, I would have never knew. I'd have never been able to pass that information along to others. So our setbacks or our tribulations provide more knowledge. And that knowledge also becomes a resource because we learn. Every difficulty is an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to learn. So when I think about being a resource or being resourceful, having the patience to search for other resources and to tap into those resources, it's something that I feel we all need to be, just aware of. How am I being a resource? What do I know? How can my knowledge be a resource to somebody else? How can my the resource that I am, be lucrative? I have a lot of talents. I can speak fluent Spanish. That's been a resource. I work with Spanish drivers. I have Spanish clients. And that's a resource to them because a lot of people, who aren't bilingual in this industry. So that helps. And then guess what? I'm helping somebody and I'm also building myself financially, right? So being a resource too to our children, that is very important. I feel like a lot of adults from when I was a child, people were older than me, they didn't really want to keep it real and be like, look, life is hard. No, you don't want to be no adult. Bills suck. This shit is hard. Nobody was really honest like that. And then you get an adult, you're like, shit, life sucks, But being an open book, supplying knowledge, teaching our kids about credit, right? I didn't get my credit right till I was like 29, teaching them about credit, teaching them about saving, teaching them about, not being so materialistic. Like, And I tell my son, them guys who were flying fresh in high school and, you know, all the girls wanted, they the same people hanging out in front of the gas station bumming these days, you know. Not all of them, but majority of them. So those material things don't make you, you know, just the life experience itself is a resource. It's a resource. It's information that you have gained from experience. Life and experience, they are the best teacher, okay? You can't tell me nothing you ain't lived, all right? And I done lived it all a few lifetimes, okay? So there's a lot of stuff I can talk about, and I'm not just talking, I lived it, right? And so it's important to share with our children and share with the youth, whether it be nieces, nephews, anybody that you're connected to, like, listen, yeah, I ran into some difficulties, or I experienced this or that. This is what I learned. This is how I grew from it. This will be my advice to you, you know, being a resource to even people who are connected to you that are older than you. If you, listen, ain't nothing worse than an old fool. Let me say that again. Ain't nothing worse than an old fool, okay? I can't stand to hear older people on their rah-rah, right? But even then, I say, you know what? Let me shine some light. Let me give my best advice. Let me try to shift the energy of the conversation and add or enhance their perspective, because I know that when you are caught on that rah-rah, you're basically focused on the wrong thing. So let's find something more positive and productive to focus on. In all ways, in your communication, your relationships, in your business, and being a parent, and being just a family member in general, and being a friend, in all ways, you have the ability to be a resource. Whether some people are very wise, some people are very graceful, some people are very patient, some people are very smart. Whatever it is about you that just exudes, and people, when they see you, they say it, oh, you always happy. You always, don't nothing get you down. Whatever it is, share that. Share the how. We don't all know. I remember growing up, I would always say my sister's friends were the most graceful. I mean, they were just graceful, you know, did everything effortlessly. And me, I was just clumsy and falling down all the time and goofy. And I just didn't know the how. And grace wasn't really taught to me, you know. But as I, you know, paid attention and I saw, like, okay, less is more. My sister did teach me that. She like, look, just a little lip liner, some lip gloss. You know, if you want to do your lashes, which I forgot to do today, y'all. It's okay. You know, less is more. I used to be real flamboyant in the way I dress. Now I'm, you know, less is more, or more is less, you know. Trying to just tap into my true womanhood. So when I was out in Vegas this past week, and I mean, all the older white women, oh my God, I love your outfit. You're so pretty. And I was like, okay, you know, if I'd have been the old ratchet kid, instead I had on some old blinky, sparkly titties out, you know. And even the outfit I did wear that was see-through, I had, you know, I was covered all the way under. Like, I had shorts on under, had a black bra, and got a lot of compliments. And I felt graceful. I felt smooth. I felt confident. I was like, yeah, I arrived, you know. And I know that's off topic of being resourceful, but as women, there are things that can elevate us, even as men as well, that can elevate just by elevating your confidence or elevating your presence. You elevate opportunity. You know, you start drawing more people to you. And if you are one of those people who have that knack and have that grace, let that be a resource to others. Go teach a women's etiquette class. Teach a young etiquette class to young girls, because not everybody has that. You know, I'm just thinking of different things that I've learned in my life experience and that I didn't learn, that I wish somebody might have taught, and realizing, you know what, we even though we might not know how to obtain what it is that we exactly want, we done seen somebody with it. And a lot of times you just got to imitate a little bit and alter it to work for you, right? So that you can achieve whatever goal it is that you're trying to achieve. So today's word again is resource. Be resourceful, okay? Look at resources that you are, and if you, excuse me guys, if you guys are feeling, I'm broke, I ain't got no money, I ain't doing good, I'm, having to depend on the government, or where my next stimulus check or whatever, then also go to the library, go to, somewhere like I know when I lived in Decatur, they had the Decatur workforce, they had We Work Atlanta. Tap into those resources to try to, increase your revenue. Learn a trade. Go to YouTube University. Go to Apple University if you got an iPhone. Figure out whatever resources that you can tap into and what resources that you have that people could tap into you, and be a resource to yourself, be a resource one to another, and find resources to help you grow and enhance. Have a great day.